Our deal is it's transparent. It's $100 million that doesn't exist right now in the system. It's new money, new revenue. It's good for the news sector. And the other thing is, if there is a better deal struck elsewhere in the world, Canada reserves the right to reopen the regulation.
That was Canada's Heritage Minister at an announcement about the deal reached with Google this afternoon. Ottawa's agreement will see Google continue to share Canadian news content, and in return, the tech giant will make annual payments to news agencies of $100 million total. For more on what this means, we're joined by Richard Lachman. He's Associate Professor with the RTA School of Media at Toronto Metropolitan University. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon, Richard.
No problem. Good to see you.
So this is an interesting development here. A while in the making. For months, Google was pushing back against, agreeing to something that would, fall within this Online News Act. What do you make of it overall?
Yeah, I think this is an example where it isn't a case of someone blinking first, but it's a case of one side being very clear of what they wanted and the government eventually meeting them. Google was very clear they didn't want to negotiate individually with media organizations. They were very clear that they didn't want what was part of the original government proposal, which was a percentage link tax, 4% of revenue share. They really said, we want a cap. We want to know how much money we're dealing with. And that is what we have.
Yeah, it's interesting. And from the government side as well, sticking to that they want something because, they did this standoff with Meta as well. And Meta is not linking to news content anymore. And it sounds like those discussions have completely, dried up at this point.
That's right. We aren't getting any indication. There was one news release saying Meta is still not on board with what's going on here. Google never fully removed links to news. Meta did. And that's had an effect on news organizations. It's arguable to say whether it's had any effect on Meta itself in terms of hurting its bottom line, its revenue. It does have some damage that we can talk about, maybe about the sort of role that these organizations have in our lives, where they want to place themselves, the active role they want to have. But it has financially, it's hurt Canadian organizations and Canadians themselves more than it has Meta.
Yeah, it is interesting because, and maybe on that point, Richard, people from whom I've spoken with seem to get news from their social media, but it's not really necessarily even on purpose. They just kind of happen upon it. And, that's how they get informed by what, is happening in this country, in the world. What sort of damages do you think would have played out when we're thinking maybe of Google in particular if Canadian news was taken from that platform?
Sure. So Google and Meta, while both huge tech giants and competitors in a lot of ways, we use them very differently. We use Instagram and Facebook very differently than we use Google. Google is search. That's still the vast majority of the revenue, despite they're being active in a number of other ways. So we're searching, we're pulling content to ourselves. I'm curious what's happening as an update. Maybe the ceasefire or temporary pause in the Middle East. I want to pull that information for me. Whereas when we use Instagram, we're stumbling across information, a relative or someone else is posting a point of view or a piece of content in something. And so we aren't choosing to go through it, but by dint of the social circles we have, the people we're friends with, the different political points of view or similar political points of view, we're coming across different content. And the danger that Meta saw was that's potentially unbounded. So I can't govern whether you post something. And if I'm liable then every time for a percentage of the revenue there, that's potentially an unlimited amount of money that I could be liable for. What we're seeing here is the thought that we can have some sort of cap on it as opposed to potentially unlimited liability.
It's actually interesting when you lay it out like that, Richard. Does it make sense that Google would come to a deal? That there would be that need for it versus Meta, if the power or the control is in, the user of Facebook or Instagram to be posting those stories. But Google knows that it is relying on those stories being out there for people to search for them and to purposefully go towards them. Is there something to that in terms of like how you laid it out?
Sure. So we do use these services differently, but to be very clear, Instagram and Facebook do make money because there's content. They don't generate the content.
Right.
They're asking and depending on us to move our conversations that we might have had in another venue, move the media that we might have consumed in another venue, a newspaper, a news service. And they only make money because we're going for our content there. So it is a different use case, but the value is still other people make stuff. And Google and Meta make money because of it.
How did the negotiations happen in Australia? Because they were approaching, this in a similar way, but it was different.
Right. So there is a global context to all of this, of course. The eyes of the world are saying, and there is a movement again and again. We're looking at how do we regulate? How do we generate additional revenue from social media or the tech companies in general. So Australia was something where they had something similar, but they engaged in the negotiation earlier. So they said, we want to do this kind of thing. Content was pulled for a period of time, and then they arrived at an agreement that involved a pool of money to be shared. Canada went forward and said, here is the exact legislation. And there weren't a ton of details in it, but it felt binding. They passed the law already, and they said regulations are to come. And that led to a very different kind of conversation between entities. It wasn't fully clear, and we've seen a lot of movement on what it meant. So the law passed, but the devil was in the details, and those details kept changing. We saw different announcements in September, and where we're at right now is different than we were when the law was originally proposed. This sense of it being a single amount, the amount is different. The government was suggesting maybe 178 million was where they thought it might end up to, not 100 million. Mm-hmm. They were looking at estimating what the revenue might be with Meta and Google. So they were saying they expected 2/3 of the share of what they wanted to make from Google, 1/3 from Meta, and right now Meta is zero. So they were trying to say maybe Google makes up all of that. That's not what happened. We have 100 million from Google. Yeah. So things played out not in a great way. This is not how we'd like to see, sort of people shouting at each other across a distance rather than doing this negotiation from the beginning. I do think the tech companies are realizing there's an inevitability to this. The business models were launched by all of the tech companies, and governments were saying, well, we don't want to over-regulate this yet. We want to see where it goes. Well, I think we can see where it goes. The tech companies make a lot of money. We don't have to worry that regulations are going to destroy the burgeoning tech industry. It's the exact opposite right now. So I do think it is. They knew it was coming. There was going to be governments saying, "Hey, we actually need to support other sectors and social value here." Yeah. The question is going to be how much.
Well, Richard, just very quickly, because we're almost out of time here, but when you're thinking about the impact on the media industry, what do you think that $100 million a year means?
Yeah, so we're going to have to see some of the regulations that are going to come out December 19th. The trick is how that money is paid. And so some of the earlier signs were going to be, it could help journalists, but we're actually seeing that maybe the government has broadened the definition of what that means in some ways. Does it mean it was going to be newspaper, print, and digital, but now it's including broadcasters? Is it including all the job titles that are in, video editor, captioner, as well as journalism? So we don't yet know how that money is going to be spent, and an unnamed organization is going to be in charge of negotiating with Google to determine that. We don't know what that organization is yet, so there's still details that have to come.